Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I want to talk about one of the most asked about bags, and that is probably on most of the wish lists of young girls out there in this world. And I'm talking about the Chanel Classic Flap. And while there are many videos out there about, reviews, about the quality, about the different size comparisons, etc., I wanted to specify on a couple of reasons why you should maybe not invest into a Chanel Classic Flap. So obviously for everyone who's considering to invest into a Chanel Classic Flap, regarding the size, the color, the style, whatever, the leather, all these are very individual decisions that everyone has to make. Everyone that wants to buy a bag for thousands and thousands of euros or dollars. About these decisions I do not want to talk about today. I want to focus on more general reasons that may be an actual reason for you not to buy a Chanel bag. Why it may be not the right bag for you or not the right brand, even though this bag is an absolutely amazing, stunning bag that has been around for so many years, that does hold up its value and that people just love to invest in, and I totally agree in that. But in the end of the day, it is just a bag, it is a product, and it is not perfect for everyone. And of course, I hope that this might be just a little bit helpful for anyone who's considering buying this kind of bag. Before we get started, please make sure if you like this kind of video, if you like my other videos, if you want to check them out, please, I would be super happy about that. And if you happen to like my channel and the content that I do, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, give me a like, leave me a comment, feedback, anything that is constructive or gives me ideas for new content. I'm more than happy to talk to you guys, to get input from you to make better content for you and for me. So let's get started. The first reason to not buy a Chanel bag, and that might be a little bit of a different approach because most of the people find this to be actually a argument pro and not contra, is the price increases. Since quite some years, Chanel started to increase the prices on a quite hefty level every 2 years or sometimes even every year for these bags. So these have been grown in price constantly for the past, 10 years or something, which of course leads to the fact that if you bought a Chanel bag a couple of years ago, today the retail price is much higher and therefore the value of the bag, is more stable than the value of, for example, a Chloe bag. However, with the price increase do come a couple of consequences that some people might not, be aware of, that I actually wasn't aware of when I bought this bag 5 years ago. So let me talk about these for a moment. The demand for these bags has grown, even though the prices have grown as well. So just because the price did increase, it does not mean that this bag is more exclusive or, something that is more sophisticated than it has been or more luxurious than it has been before. It's actually still quite the difference, because despite of the fact that this bag or the price for this bag has increased incredibly during the past years, still you will find more and more people actually wearing these bags. And that actually is something that for me personally is a fact that I do not appreciate, because if I buy into a brand like Chanel, for me, this is like, a piece of ultimate luxury, of exclusivity, and still a lot of people actually wear these, even though the price is higher. Another problem with the price increase is that the price does increase, but the product stays the same. So you pay more money for less and less value. And this is something that actually leads me to point 2, which is the quality decrease. Because of the growing demand for these bags and because of the fact that they have to produce more and more bags, the quality of these bags has decreased. So the price has increased, but the quality has decreased, which of course is not how it should work, especially when it comes to such a high luxury bag. So for example, 20 years ago in the 90s, the closures of the bags and the hardware in general was actually plated with real gold, which is not the case anymore. And if you also look at vintage Chanel bags, for example, that are made of lambskin, this lambskin has a very, very different quality to it. It is still very, very shiny and smooth, but it is also way, way, way more durable and actually more functional for that way as well. Whereas today, most of the lambskin bags are extremely delicate, and that is of course a reason why people always contemplate between the caviar and the lambskin. And just in general, when it comes to the construction, the craftsmanship, there are more issues with these bags. People have more problems today with the quality of these bags than they had 20 years ago. If you think of, one Chanel store like 20 or 30 years ago, maybe they sold 10 bags a week. And today, because of the globalization, because of the growing demand, they will probably sell hundreds. So to maintain this demand and to produce and to be able to produce so many of these bags, quality is something that gets more and more difficult for a brand to, hold up when the production has to increase that much. So with these 2 points, the price increase and the quality decrease, I would today totally consider buying a Chanel bag on the pre-loved market rather than buying it in the boutique. So of course you may not get like the whole shebang experience when you go into the boutique. You get the box, you get your champagne, etc., etc. Of course this is something that will not happen when you buy it on the pre-loved market. But if you first of all want to save a little bit of money, and second of all even get a product that might be of a better quality than what you could get now brand new in the boutique, I think I would totally consider going or reaching out in the pre-loved market. I bought this bag brand new 5 years ago, and to be honest, sometimes I regret it because I think that there are so many amazing Chanel flap bags on the pre-loved market nowadays that I could have gotten for a slightly better price, and maybe even the quality would have been better if I just, had a bag that is 10 years old or something. Talking about the experience in the boutique, that brings me to point 3 of my reasons not to buy a Chanel bag, and that is the rude customer service. Or let me correct, it's not just the rude customer service, it's also the lack of customer service. So if you are not in the circle of, best, like super important customers that leave thousands and thousands of euros or dollars or whatever in your Chanel boutique on a monthly base, chances are you will not get the best experience in your local Chanel boutique. I mean, if you search through YouTube and talk about bad customer service at Chanel, you'll get so many horror stories. And to be honest, even my local boutique here in Germany is a place that I do not enjoy going to anymore, because the SAs there are just not friendly, they are not helpful, their whole service approach is basically not there. And as someone who works in the fashion industry and who has been working in the luxury fashion industry for quite a couple of years now, for like 10 years, I do have quite the competence in comparing different boutiques, different brands and customer services to each other, and I can only tell you that Chanel is not amongst the best of them. It's sometimes actually quite on the opposite side. And as consumers, our dollar is our voice, or our euro, or whatever, our currency, what we have in our pockets, our money is our voice. And this is just a thought that I developed during the past years too. Do I want to give money, like that kind of money, Chanel kind of money, to a brand that just does not appreciate me as a customer? This is just like food for thought. If you are thinking of buying a Chanel bag, again, new in the boutique, I would really, really consider, finding a boutique, at least a local boutique that is friendly, finding an SA that is really helpful and really friendly to give you the best experience, that gives you again the best feeling, and the best conscience to actually invest into such a bag brand new. But then again, after your experience of buying the bag, that is just like one part of the whole service approach that I mean. So if something is wrong with your bag after you bought it, it also can just be bad luck for you that your personal SA or your local boutique will not really be able or will not really be willing to help you with that problem. I never ever heard a story of a Chanel SA that took great care of a problem with a bag. Never. And I watch so much YouTube, so many luxury YouTubers. So if something would happen to this bag, I would be worried. I heard a lot of stories that, you know, where people just get sent home. So Chanel is not known for their great customer service. Except of course you are one of their very important customers. So just keep that in mind when buying this bag, again, brand new. Reason 4 is the sizing of these bags. So the overall design of these bags has been around and not really changed for the past 20 or 30 years. And I mean, lucky for Chanel that this bag is very, very iconic because it is not the most functional. If we think about the different sizes, either you have a very small bag like mine, I have the small size, which you cannot wear crossbody, and that really doesn't fit that much. The 2 flaps are, of course, there for the shape, to make the shape of the bag more constructed and more sturdy. However, it is not very practical to get into this bag if you always have the restraining second flap holding your hand back from getting into your bag. So it is not really the most comfortable and functional. And when you think of the larger sizes like the jumbo or the maxi, the jumbo, for example, you can wear crossbody, but because of the construction and the 2 flaps, this bag is heavy as hell. And the maxi, again, you cannot wear crossbody, even though it is huge. So if you really consider the different sizes and the different functionalities, they are not the best, to be honest. And there are other bags out there that can fulfill, you know, the function and the design aspects altogether. For example, the Lady Dior, which you can wear crossbody, you can wear on their handles, and they always look super classy. They are much more functional than the Chanel classic flaps, unfortunately. And point or reason number 5 is the status symbol. So for me, I always wanted to own a Chanel classic flap because I always looked up to Gabrielle Chanel. Even though I know that she has been dead for quite some years, she still really always was an icon for me because she was a rebel, she was a very empowered, free-willed woman, she was wild, she knew what she wanted in a time where it was nowhere near possible for any women to just, like, you know, go out and do whatever the hell they want. So for me, she always was an icon, and that was the reason why I wanted to have a piece of her in my wardrobe for myself. And obviously this bag is something that I will cherish for the rest of my life, and I will still wear this when I'm a grandmother and I'm 80 years old and I go to the supermarket with my rollator. So obviously the reasons why I wanted to have this piece of Chanel for myself were very emotional and very personal. But today I sometimes feel like a lot of people just want a Chanel bag ASAP just for the sake of having a Chanel bag, to be part of the Chanel club, to look rich, you know, to have the status symbol, whatever kind of, you know, whatever that means, to be honest, and to show off. And to be honest, I mean, everyone's motivation, everyone's reason can be very different, and I'm not judging anyone for wanting to look, you know, rich or something per se. It will not make you happier, it will not actually make you richer. It will, quite the opposite, even make you feel worse because you just spent a shit ton of money for a bag just to feel rich, but actually you are now poor AF because you spent all your money on a bag. You know what I mean? So I would just encourage you to check your motivations to buy a bag like this for the right reasons, because you love the design, because you love how it would, you know, incorporate into your style, how it would lift up your style. Sometimes even if you want to just buy it as an investment, go for it. But yeah, I would just really encourage you to, you know, check your personal motivations and to buy a bag like that for the right reasons. And that is it. These are my 5 reasons for not buying a Chanel bag. And ending this video, I just want to say one more thing. I really encourage you to do as much research about Chanel bags, or, like, you know, any very expensive high price investment piece if you're considering to buy one, whether it is Chanel or, you know, a Rolex watch or whatever, a MS bag. I think that the more you know about these bags, about the brand, about their history, the price increases, how they wear, how they tear, etc., the better choice you will be able to make if you end up going on the pre-loved market or into a boutique, or if you end up going to Europe because the prices are better, you know. I think the more you know, the better choice you will make. I really wish today I knew more by the time that I got this bag, because I'm not sure if I would have bought this exact bag in this size if I would have been more informed and educated by that time. So take your time. These bags are not as hard to get as some people or some boutiques will make you, you know, think, or make you want to think. I went into a store, got this bag, no problem at all. And every time I'm in a Chanel boutique, they do have these on stock, really. There's like always someone looking at these bags whenever I'm in a Chanel store. So, you know, don't pressure yourself time-wise or something to get it right now. Save up for it, do your research, really be educated and sure which, you know, design, which color, etc. you want to get, so that you make the smartest decision and the best investment for, you know, your personal needs. I hope this video was kind of helpful. If you have any more questions regarding this particular bag or Chanel Classic Flaps in general, I will be more than happy to answer your questions if you leave them in the comments down below. If we get in touch, we can chat a little bit about, you know, Chanel bags. And if you want to see how I style this bag, how I wear this bag, and how I incorporate this in my day-to-day outfits, please check out my Instagram. I will also link it down below in the description box below. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!